Stephen A., who are your sources, bro? Please tell me who your sources are. Come on, man. Come on, man. You gotta stop yapping. And I actually like you, man. I don't even know you like that, but I like you. I'm coming back, man. Come on.
But then you're gonna do something on poolside on Twitter. Is that your definition of really being healthy, Lonzo Ball? I'd also like to add to Lonzo Ball, who, by the way, turns 26 in October. This is a man that had a cartilage transplant in his left knee in March. The procedure on his knee was the third procedure he has had since he signed a 4-year, $80 million deal with the Bulls in 2021. 35 games missed ankle. In 2018, 2019, 2020, 6 games missed because of his groin. 2021, 17 games missed because of his thumb, his toe, his hip, his knee. And then obviously last year's knee. You really gonna sit poolside on the bench and think because you getting up and sitting down and getting up and sitting down that makes you healthy? Does that have anything to do with running up and down a damn court for 30, 35 minutes a night? Come on, bro. Come on now. So that's all I'm gonna say. You know, I'm like, really? And then you got these idiotic trolls all over social media, and of course, you know, these websites, the Bleacher Report and others. Oh, he really tore into Stephen A. Don't you have the stats? Don't you know how many games he's missed? Hey guys, don't y'all see me walking all the time? Don't you see me running around in here when I gotta run from one room to another? Okay, I've had a cracked patella. I still got a 6-inch screw in my knee. If I go on a basketball court and I play for 20 or 30 minutes, I gotta ice my damn knee and I don't feel like playing for another month. Does that mean that I'm healthy? Really? Don't let me get all up in y'all, okay? Stop the nonsense.
You know, I wasn't gonna do this. I wasn't gonna give Stephen A. and ESPN the time of day for their nonsense clickbait reporting to get engagement. And I know that by me making this video, I'm kind of contributing to the problem, but when I saw Stephen A.'s response back to Lonzo Ball, after Lonzo clapped back at Stephen A. for his initial comments that he's hearing Lonzo is having trouble getting up from a seated position, I couldn't stay silent and needed to get my thoughts out. And this will likely be in the form of a rant, which I feel like it's been a while since we've had a rant video, given the Bulls haven't played a game in a while. Now here's the thing, because I don't think it's entirely fair to just go all in on Stephen A. and act like he's trash as a TV personality, because as someone who has recently started talking about sports, making this channel, talking about Bulls basketball, making the NBA channel, talking about NBA, as easy as it might sound to just talk off the cuff about basketball, it isn't easy. And to also do it in a manner where you deliver the message well, that is entertaining, not stumbling over your words, knowing and memorizing statistics, transitions from one topic to another, it's hard to do. And the fact that Stephen A. ad-libs a lot of what he talks about, isn't reading from a script, not going off notes, it's impressive. It takes skill. So while I know some will say Stephen A. Smith is a trash reporter or sports personality, it does take skill to do what he does day in and day out. So I always think it's fair to just not attack someone without acknowledging that there are elements of what they do that are great. That said, I lost so much respect for Stephen A. Smith after this whole exchange with Lonzo Ball. Now, to be clear, I actually liked Stephen A. years back. Like I mentioned, I thought the way that he delivered sports discussions was entertaining, engaging, and sometimes actually produced sound takes. But over the last couple of years, Stephen A. and his objective, whenever he's on camera now, is how can I come up with the most outlandish things to say for shock value, purely for the sake of engagement, to get people to talk about it and drive traffic to him and ESPN. And I guess congrats to him, it's working. Case in point, me making an entire video on it. But here's the thing, it's one thing to provide incredibly wild takes, shouting while on camera to get your ridiculous point across, because at the end of the day, it simply is just one's opinion, even if it's a garbage one. But it's another thing to go at and attack an injured player, unprovoked initially by the way, and then when proven wrong for your initial claims, getting called out for giving false information all in the name of clicks and engagement, but then doubling down on your statements and completely changing the narrative saying, you're not healthy, bro. Just because you can get up from a sitting down position, does that mean that you can run up and down the court? Goes even further to say that he's barely been able to play in half of the available games throughout his career, meaning Lonzo Ball. To make it even worse, he further doubles down on it on his own show, not just First Take, but on the Stephen A. Smith show, goes on to say, with a smirk on his face, acting all cocky like he knows everything, talking directly to Lonzo, my sources were your doctors, who said you're having trouble getting up from a seated position. Would you like me to tell you the names of your doctors that operated on you? I know the actual doctors. I know people. I know things. How dare you call me out and question my credibility? Stephen A., your credibility has been long gone for a while now. When you started pulling stunts and giving nonsense takes that you knew were solely being given to drive traffic and engagement, when you opted to go that route rather than provide honest and factual reporting, your credibility went out the window. Everyone already knew this about you even before these recent claims about Lonzo Ball. Here's the thing, even when Stephen A. first said, I'm hearing Lonzo is having pain when he's getting up from a seated position, before Lonzo even clapped back at him with his poolside video, I didn't even think twice about it. Like, okay, here we go again. Stephen A. just trying to capitalize on Lonzo being in the news because of his recent interview on Trae Young's podcast where he talks about his injury. Taking it a step further to be like, guys, I'm hearing Lonzo's injury is so bad that even months after the surgery, he's still having trouble getting up while sitting. I knew it was BS. Just a typical Stephen A. move to get some views in the middle of August when news is light on the NBA front. And when Lonzo clapped back, showing he doesn't have any issues at all getting up from a seated position and taking it a step further and lifting himself off from a seated position using only his left leg, I was cracking up to see Lonzo Ball do this, who isn't very vocal, isn't very demonstrative usually like his dad is, to call him out and say, stop the nonsense, you're full of shit. The fact that Stephen A., rather than just taking the L, apologizing and saying, hey, my mistake, clearly my sources were wrong, clearly you're fine getting up from a seated position, wishing you the best and a speedy recovery. But instead, Stephen A. completely changes the argument, going on and on about how he's not healthy, how he heard this straight from his doctors, you can't play right now, stop acting like you can play. Is that what Lonzo said? No, simply debunking your claim that he's struggling to get up while seating. The fact that Stephen A. is responding in this fashion, this triggered by Lonzo calling him out, says a lot about how sensitive he is when people question his sources and his credibility. And you know what? It's sad that the mainstream sports media has gotten to this point. I put together a video talking about this on my NBA channel, but it's gotten to the point where fair and honest reporting, quality reporting, has gone completely out the window, all in the name of clicks, views, and engagement. Because that's what drives revenue. And maybe this is me just being an old head, get off my lawn type statement, but I miss the old days of SportsCenter, where they just talked about the latest news and highlights in a fair and honest way. And now we've resorted to whoever can shout the loudest to get their point across, even if their point has no validity or basis to the truth, because it sells. It's as if it doesn't really matter if it's true and accurate or not. Do and say what sells. And it's just a shame that we've gotten to this point where it's okay to be attacking a player who has been struggling his entire career to stay healthy, who has been stripped of doing what he loves and sitting by idle, watching and waiting and praying that he can hopefully come back and finish his career in the NBA. There is a possibility that Lonzo will never play again. And for Stephen A., it's, nah, let's go at this guy and remind him how he's not healthy and can't play, as if it's something he can control. Such a bad look for Stephen A. It's embarrassing and pathetic. I'm sure he'll come out with some sort of half-hearted apology, how he wasn't attacking Lonzo for being injured, but rather just stating the facts from what he was told, but it's too late. You said what you said, and you know why you did it. And congrats, you got your engagement, but at the cost of more credibility and respect being lost by those who follow the game. Let me know what you guys thought of Stephen A. and Lonzo's exchange. Let me know in the comments. As always, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.